She said that just before she reached the string, a feeling came over her that someone was standing right there next to her. She stopped. She couldn't move forward. She couldn't do anything. She just stood there at the top of the stairs in the dark with this presence beside her. If this is your first time tuning into our podcast, heyo, we are two spooky girls who love to hear and tell stories about ghosts, hauntings, cryptids, and other super weird stuff.
So weird.
Mm-hmm.
Don't worry though, we respect the forces that are behind all of that weird stuff, and we know to keep a safe distance.
Mm-hmm. By the way, we are fully aware that we don't know anything or really understand what's happening with any of this stuff.
Yes. But it's okay. We keep it light as we work our way through the strange and unusual. You will hear us laugh a little as we bring you stories that make you question and give you a chill.
That's right. A quick warning before we begin. This podcast is for entertainment purposes only. Our tales are drawn from folklore, history, and reported experiences, but we don't claim them as fact. Some stories may include sensitive topics, so listener discretion is advised.
Dive into the shadows with us as we bring you haunting tales in this episode of the You Two Scare Me podcast. Shall we dive in?
All right. There is a study from 2015 that found that about a third of summer camps in the United States now prohibit ghost stories. A third of them. Isn't that crazy?
That's lame.
They don't just discourage them or leave it up to individual counselors. Ghost stories are not allowed. Period. The reasoning is that scary stories told at bedtime traumatize children, that it's irresponsible, that there are better ways to close out the day than filling kids' heads with something that will keep them awake, staring at the cabin ceiling for the next 3 hours.
This is so boring. I cannot. I don't want to go to that summer camp, any of those.
I mean, okay, as like a parent and a teacher, I can kind of, like they're solid points. I do think like you don't want to like hurt a kid or like mess with their mind or whatever.
Right.
But I don't know. I think that
there's something nostalgic.
Yes.
Like I'm picturing either the campfire or the flashlight under the chin, and you're like, and then.
Yeah. And it doesn't have to be like a super scary story, just like a little bit spooky.
Yeah, like something that makes you jump. And you're like, and then everybody laughs and,
Yeah, and then you're kind of bonded together.
Yeah.
Maybe you're trauma bonded together. I don't know.
Okay, maybe we're just really messed up.
We come from a different time. I do think that when you don't include those kinds of things, it misses something fundamental about what these stories were actually doing. So ghost stories at summer camp were never really about the ghosts. They were about the dark, about being somewhere unfamiliar, away from home, surrounded by woods and a lake that goes silent in a way that it never does during the day. Every camp in America had a version of the same story. The drowned girl, the dead counselor, the cabin at the edge of the woods that nobody goes into anymore because of what happened there years ago.
Dun, dun, dun.
The details changed. The bones were always the same. And the reason these stories worked, the reason they spread from camp to camp across generations of American summers, is that the setting made them believable. The woods were right there. The lake was right there. Something could absolutely be right there.
Ooh.
You knew it could. You were 12 years old and you were in a bunk with 7 other kids who all felt it too. And there was something important in sitting with that feeling together, right? It's like a bonding thing.
Right. Plus you're away from your parents.
Yeah.
And so you're like, ooh, something could happen. Nobody's here to protect me.
Yeah.
It's just that little like.
Yeah. And then you start to develop teamwork and trusting each other and things like that,
Yeah.
Researchers who studied the tradition actually concluded that controlled fear in a safe setting is developmentally useful. That learning to feel scared and stay anyway, to let the story end and then laugh and go to sleep is a skill, one that we might be quietly taking away from kids in the name of protecting them.
Good thing that they have us.
Don't worry, kids. We're here for your development.
always helping the children. You know?
Right. That's right. But I think we see echoes of that in all over society today, you know, with the way that, you know, we kind of overprotect children. And we see it at school for sure. You have the little kids, you know, sometimes kids come to school and they really, they've never been told no, or, you know, different things like that. And so they don't know how to react when those kinds of things are happening or whatever, or they've never socialized with other kids or whatever.
Way, or like they lose a game.
Yeah.
Things like that.
Exactly. So I feel like this is just another example of that kind of thing happening. So yeah. So all of that is a longer conversation that I feel like you and I could have a pro-con list. That would be a mile long. We do love a pro-con list.
We do.
Don't we? Yes.
We do.
What I can tell you is that whatever you believe about ghost stories and childhood and fear, there are summer camps in this country with real hauntings. These aren't just the stories that counselors invented to keep kids in their bunks. These stories are about real deaths, real witnesses, real accounts from real people who had no reason to make anything up.
So it's real.
It's real. Are you ready? That's what we're talking about today.
Ready. I love it.
All right. So Big Moose Lake is in the Adirondack Mountains in upstate New York, about 2 hours from Syracuse.
Okay.
It's remote and cold and beautiful, the kind of lake that looks perfectly still in the early morning and perfectly black at night. And it has been haunted for 120 years.
Whoa.
By the ghost of a young woman named Grace Brown. So here's what happened to Grace. Also, can't you just imagine this setting? Like
100%.
Upstate New York. It's like this beautiful lake and the trees are so tall.
Yes.
In the morning it's foggy and
I actually love
beautiful.
that area.
It's really pretty. We went to Cooperstown, New York for baseball for my son one summer, and a group of parents, we all got a house together and it was like on a lake. It was so pretty. Oh my
Awesome.
God. It was really cool.
My brother used to live in a ski town like south of Buffalo, New York. And I loved, when I lived in New York City, I would drive like 6 hours, go snowboarding there for like long weekends, whatever.
Oh yeah.
And I just loved it. It was so peaceful and beautiful. But like in the fall, there was always, you know, like the mist in the morning.
Yeah.
And I don't know, the golden sunlight. There was just something about it.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
I said that place was on a lake. It wasn't on a lake. It was on a pond. I don't want to be telling lies around here. I was like, that was not a lake, but there was a pond on the property. So.
Okay.
Okay. I stand corrected. All right. So here is what happened to Grace. She grew up on a dairy farm in South Otselic, New York, and wanted more than that. So she moved to the town of Cortland and took a job at the Gillette skirt factory.
Oh.
While she was there, she caught the attention of Chester Gillette, the factory owner's nephew.
Okay.
Chester was handsome and popular and moving through social circles that Grace, as a factory worker from a farm, had no business being in. So, They began a relationship in secret because his family had different plans for him. Wealthier plans, if you will. Grace understood the arrangement, or thought she did, until she got pregnant.
Oh, no.
She told Chester, and Chester told her in ways that got less kind over time that he wasn't going to marry her. He had prospects, and he was being introduced to wealthy families, courting daughters whose backgrounds matched what his family wanted for him. Grace moved home to her parents. She wrote him letters, one after another, asking him to do right by her, telling him what a pregnancy outside of marriage would mean for her life, for her reputation, and her future. He eventually responded by inviting her on a trip to the Adirondacks. Grace believed he was finally ready, that this was the trip where everything got resolved the right way. On July 11th, 1906, Chester and Grace rented a rowboat on Big Moose Lake and went out on the water together. Only Chester came back to shore.
Chester, you jerk.
He sucks. Grace's body was found the next morning after the man who'd rented them the boat sent out a search party when they failed to return. The overturned canoe was floating, and Grace was floating nearby. Chester, when found and questioned, said she had jumped, that she'd been emotional and despairing and had thrown herself from the boat. Nobody believed him.
Good. I was wondering because it's that era of,
you
know.
Take his, I mean, he's like a rich kid, he's got everything, and she's just like
an
a farm
hysterical
girl.
woman.
Yep. So They partly didn't believe him because when investigators went back to the shoreline, they found Chester's tennis racket buried in the dirt near the water. And because the doctors who had examined Grace's body believed that she had been struck in the head before she went in the lake. After leaving the scene, Chester had walked to a nearby town, climbed a Black Bear Mountain with a group of tourists, taken photographs, and carved his name in a rock.
This dude sucks.
He is like, that is psychotic.
Yeah.
Right? Or like psychopath. Like, that's like psychopath behavior.
Yeah, that, I mean,
You know?
even if, even if it wasn't premeditated, but it seems like it was.
Yeah. Well, he was like, yeah, come on out to the Adirondacks.
Right.
I rented us a boat.
Right. But, like, I'm trying really to dig deep here and like,
Okay.
and think about, okay, maybe he was like, I'm just gonna really end this thing.
Yeah.
But we're gonna go out. Who knows? But even if, let's just say it was in the moment, like
Crime of passion.
exactly. Something happened, it escalated. He was just like desperate, whatever. It doesn't seem that way. I don't actually believe that. But even if that happened, I don't understand how you can take someone else's life, somebody that you had a relationship with, no matter what the intent behind the relationship was, and end their life and then just go hanging out with other people, smiling, doing this, doing that.
Yeah.
That's
Creepy.
yeah.
Real bad.
Boo Chester.
Boo Chester. But he was arrested the following day.
Good.
Tried and convicted of first-degree murder.
Shocking, actually.
Yeah. On March 30th, 1908, Chester Gillette was executed in the electric chair at Auburn Prison in New York.
This is all shocking.
I know.
Wow.
The case became one of the most famous murder stories in the country. Theodore Dreiser fictionalized it in his 1925 novel, An American Tragedy. It was adapted into a film in 1951, A Place in the Sun, starring Elizabeth Taylor and Montgomery Clift. That's pretty cool, right?
Elizabeth Taylor.
The story has been told and retold for over a century. But here is what the story usually doesn't include. Grace Brown never left that lake. She's not considered a threatening presence. Every account of her across more than 100 years of sightings describes the same thing. Profound sadness and a specific habit of extinguishing lights near the water at night. Flashlights, lanterns, anything being carried toward the lake after dark. It goes out. Witnesses have described seeing her falling from a boat into the water or walking along the shoreline with that particular quality of grief that's different from ordinary sadness. On July 11th, every year, the anniversary of her death, people at or near Big Moose Lake report hearing a scream.
Stop it.
The same scream on the same date for 120 years. Isn't that crazy?
Oh my gosh, I have chills.
The most documented accounts come from Covewood Lodge, a historic summer camp complex on Big Moose Lake that has been operating since the 1920s. In the summer of 1988, a group of Covewood employees were coming back to the staff lodge at the end of the night. One of them, a woman named Rhonda Bussalot, I don't know how to say that name, Bussalot, walked inside ahead of the others and climbed the stairs in the dark, reaching up for the pull string that turned on the light. She described what happened next the same way every time she was asked about it. She said that just before she reached the string, a feeling came over her that someone was standing right there next to her. She stopped. She couldn't move forward. She couldn't do anything. She just stood there at the top of the stairs in the dark with this presence beside her. Outside at that exact moment, her 3 male co-workers were watching a spectral woman on the 2nd floor of the building.
What?
A spectral woman. All 3 of them saw her. She stood there for a few seconds and then moved away. Rhonda said she didn't see anything, but that someone was absolutely, without question, right there next to her.
Whoa.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
The cold of it, the certainty of it, never left her. A few months after that, another Covewood employee named Linda Lee Mackin was walking down to the lake at night with a flashlight. The light started dimming as she walked by. By the time she reached the rocky edge of the water, it was completely out. She was standing alone in the dark next to Big Moose Lake with a dead flashlight.
I wonder, I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
I was just like, I'm wondering if the motivation behind the extinguishing of the lights is like, so people don't go to the lake at night.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
maybe.
Because I was like, what is the connection here with the light? But I'm wondering if that's it. Like
stay away from the lake. It's not safe here.
yeah.
Oh, I didn't think about that. I was kind of wondering that too. I think that seems like a good theory to me. Linda turned around to make her way back. Standing directly in front of her was the ghost of Grace Brown. Linda got back to the lodge as fast as she could manage in the dark without a light.
Ooh.
There are other reports from Covewood as well. Guests coming in late at night have described seeing a figure on the staircase landing, a vaporous girl in old-fashioned clothes, there for just a moment before she disappears. The air noticeably colder for several seconds after she's gone. In the summer of 1999, a guest named Jim Dunning got up before sunrise to swim and found a single small wet footprint on the steps leading down from the lodge to the dock.
Oh.
No one else was around. Just the one print, small, like it belonged to a young woman who had stepped up from the water and then stopped.
Whoa.
That's like kind of chilling. Don't you think?
Yeah. Anytime there's like wet footprints.
Oh, yeah, we talked about that.
Right.
Yeah.
Like in Cape May, like the puddle left behind or whatever. You know, like, I don't know. There's something that there's like this physical.
Like a remnant.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty creepy. 120 years and she's still making her way up out of that lake.
Oh, Grace.
I know. I just think, man, that poor girl, you know, she's had the same kind of thing that's happened to so many women who have found themselves in an unfortunate position, you know, and didn't have any choices. And she was really trying to do the right thing. And then
I can feel, can't you just feel her excitement first, then the sort of sadness, the desperation, the like, and then the hope probably when he's like, hey, let's go on this trip.
Yes.
And you're like, oh my gosh, finally.
yeah. And then that happened. It's really sad.
Boo, Chester.
Chester, you're the worst. Okay. The next story requires a little setup because understanding what the place is now and what it looked like before that is part of why this haunting feels the way it does. Camp Wandawega is in Elkhorn, Wisconsin, on a small lake in the southeastern corner of the state. It's on the National Register of Historic Places. It's beautiful. Vintage cabins, a treehouse, an old canvas tent or two.
Who stays in the canvas tents?
I know. That's like the bargain night.
Those are reserved for the teachers.
Yeah, exactly. The kind of place that looks like someone recreated the ideal of what summer camp is supposed to feel like. It's charming and warm and a little bit magic in the way that places can be when someone loves them properly. So it's like a cool, nice place. It was also, for most of its existence before the 1960s, a speakeasy and brothel run by a Danish immigrant madam named Anna Beckford Peck, who locals called Orphan Annie.
I love me little Orphan Annie.
Anna ran the Wandawega Hotel through the 1920s and 30s. It was a getaway for criminals on the run, for crooked cops, for anyone coming out of Chicago who wanted illegal liquor, gambling, and other things that weren't available back home.
All right.
Federal agents raided it repeatedly.
Fun haters.
Anna was arrested more than once. In 1942, she was finally convicted of running, in the language of the court, a bawdy house of ill fame.
Oh.
And sentenced to 3 years at Taichida, the Wisconsin women's prison. Her husband, Gordon, was convicted too and served time alongside her.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that makes sense. That same year, right before the Peck era ended, something happened at Wandawega that left a presence on that property that people are still encountering today.
Ooh.
So, Chicago, August 31st, 1942. A 35-year-old man named John Gabriel had been in a relationship with a woman named Virginia Bozaic. She ended it. He couldn't let it go. That afternoon, he was waiting for her outside the Appleton Electric Power Plant where she worked. When she came out, he approached her. She said no, but John dragged her into an alleyway and shot her.
No.
He also shot her sister Leona, who had witnessed it.
Jeez.
But Leona survived, and Virginia did not. Then he ran. He found an acquaintance named Irene Carpenter. He confessed everything he had done, and then he put a gun to her head and told her to drive. They drove northwest out of Chicago, across the state line, out into Walworth County, Wisconsin. When they reached Wandawega, Gabriel checked into a cottage under the name Jack Redmond. He asked Anna Peck if he could borrow a radio to listen to the evening news. He wanted to know if they were reporting the murder yet. So he's just waiting to see if he's going to get caught. At some point that evening, Irene Carpenter left. She got in the car and drove back to Chicago and went directly to the police.
Okay, Irene.
Yeah, she told them everything, including that he was still armed and that she had no idea of what he was capable of doing next. Walworth County officers arrived at the Wandawega Hotel at 12:30 in the morning. They knocked on the cottage door. No answer. They went in. John Gabriel was sitting in a rocking chair with his own revolver in his hand. He had killed himself before they reached him. So he was listening.
Okay.
He knew that they were coming, I think. The Chicago papers ran the story with the nickname they'd given him, Johnny Sweetheart. A few years after the Peck era ended, the property passed through several hands before being purchased in 1961 by a Latvian order of Catholic priests who ran it as a cultural retreat and informal summer camp for children through the 1970s. Isn't that wild?
Wow, what a change.
It's like a brothel, like this wild place. And then that's a Latvian Catholic camp.
Who do you think floated that idea? They're like, you know what would be great?
Let's get some priests in here and maybe some summer camp kids.
Let's turn this around.
Isn't that funny? One of those children was David Hernandez, who is now one of the current owners. He attended Wandawega as a kid when it was the Latvian church camp. He loved it enough to buy the whole place as an adult and has spent decades learning everything there is to know about its history.
I love that.
Isn't that cool?
Yes.
Go David. He'll tell you without hesitation that guests encountered John Gabriel on that property. What they see is a man on the far shore of the lake wandering in the mist with a bowler hat and mournful expression, like someone looking for something he cannot find. Dozens of guests over the years, people who arrived knowing nothing about the camp's history, have come in and described the same figure. David's take on it, in his own words, I personally haven't seen him, but we've had numerous reports of other people who have. I'm not sure if it was too much whiskey around the campfire late at night or if they really saw a ghost. Maybe we'll never know.
That's funny. I wonder what Johnny Ghost is looking for.
Yeah, Johnny Sweetheart. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Maybe let's see.
Okay.
I do have a little theory. John Gabriel murdered a woman in an alleyway in broad daylight. He kidnapped another woman at gunpoint. He drove across the state line with a gun pressed to someone's head. He was a killer who died by his own hand in a stolen cottage on a Wisconsin lake. And what people encounter of him over and over is grief. It's not described as frightening. He's described as mournful and searching, like a man who lost something he cannot name and cannot stop looking for. Some hauntings are about the victim. Some are about the one who caused the harm. The ghost of Johnny Sweetheart wandering that lakeshore in his bowler hat all these decades later might be both.
So even though Johnny did these things, he seems like better than Chester.
Yes. At least he didn't go climbing up a mountain and taking pictures with some tourists.
Maybe he was more like the crime of passion, like, his broken heart, whatever.
Yeah.
The sister's there. It's a reaction. I got to get out of here. Okay. And then he's just like spinning. He's like, what did I do? Oh my gosh.
He sat with his thoughts.
Right.
And he was like, oh man, that was wrong.
Yeah. And then he's listening to the radio and he's like, oh my God.
They're coming for me.
They're coming.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess so. I don't know.
Wow.
So at least it seems like he has some remorse for his actions.
Yeah. Well, now he's there forever.
Okay. I have one more story for you. Moon Lake sits high in the Uinta Mountains in northeastern Utah, inside the Ashley National Forest in Duchesne County. It's remote and alpine and genuinely beautiful. The kind of place that draws families back summer after summer. Generations of the same people returning to the same campsites, fishing the same banks, watching the same sunsets over and over. The resort there has been operating for decades. It's not a place with a dark history, no murder, no documented tragedy, no crime that anyone has been able to verify. What it has instead is something harder to explain. Nobody knows who she is. That's the first thing to understand about the ghost at Moon Lake. There's no Grace Brown here, or court record, or newspaper coverage of a drowning that can be tied to what people keep seeing. There's only the consistency of the accounts themselves and the fact that they keep coming from strangers who have never met each other and had no reason to coordinate their stories.
Okay.
That's kind of cool, right?
Yeah.
So she appears to be about 7 years old.
Oh.
She's soaking wet as though she's just come out of the lake, and she's shivering. Her lips are blue. She approaches people who are alone near the shoreline or in the woods around the water, and she asks for help.
Oh.
When you reach out to her, she vanishes. This has been happening for as long as anyone at Moon Lake can remember.
Wow.
Reported by campers, hikers, fishermen, and Forest Service staff across decades of summers. The details do not drift the way details usually do when a story passes through enough people. The girl stays 7. She stays wet. Her lips stay blue. She always asks for help, and then she always disappears before anyone can give that help. Some visitors never see her at all. Others hear her instead, the sound of a child sobbing across the water late at night, or the sudden sound of loud splashing with nothing in the lake to account for it.
No.
That's so sad, huh? Odd lights have been reported floating above the surface after dark, moving in straight lines or sudden arcs, too controlled and too silent to be anything easily explained. Dogs brought to the campground refuse to go near certain spots along the shore. The darkness at Moon Lake, once the sun goes down, is the particular darkness of a place far enough from any town that there's nothing else lighting the sky. Sound travels strangely across the water. The distance between what you heard and where it came from becomes very hard to judge. No one has ever found the record of a drowning that matches her. No one has given her a name. Whatever happened to that child, if something happened at all, the lake has kept it.
Oh.
What it gives back season after season to people who came only to fish or camp or watch the stars is a small wet girl standing at the edge of the water asking for help that never comes in time.
Oh.
Isn't that? It's so sad, right?
So sad.
It makes me wonder if it's like this is like an indigenous
I wonder
story, you know, like
Yeah,
there
I
wouldn't be
wonder-
any written record of that.
what she's wearing. That would be like the one clue,
Yeah.
right? But how long have they been seeing her?
Decades and decades. I don't know. I'm not sure.
Oh, that's awful.
Yeah, I know.
Sweet baby.
There's something that connects all 3 of these stories. Every haunting in this episode comes back to water. We've talked about water a lot lately, don't you think? A shoreline at night, the place where land ends and something else begins. Water is where things go and do not come back. When someone drowns, the story cannot close the way other deaths allow it to close. There's no scene to process, no grave to stand at, and nowhere to put the grief. The lake holds what happened and gives nothing back. And that open-endedness is what keeps the door from shutting. In that open door, something returns. A third of summer camps in this country have now banned ghost stories in the name of keeping children safe from fear. There's something deeply ironic in that. The ghosts were already there. They were in the lake and on the shore and in the mist over the water long before anyone invented a story to tell in the dark. They're still there. Don't go near the water tonight, Andy.
That's really hard. It's right outside.
I know, it's literally right outside.
Oh my gosh.
Ooh, spooky
That
camp
was spooky.
stories.
I loved it.
Yeah.
Oh, that last one was a little sad.
It was sad, yeah. But also, who knows? I mean, maybe it's nothing. Maybe it's just like urban legends and tales. I don't know, but it seems like
I don't know. It seems like
pretty consistent,
Yeah.
you know.
But as a paranormal enthusiast, I love the idea that on that one night, that scream is heard every year.
So spooky.
I mean,
Oh my gosh. Do you think it's like teenagers out there just screaming?
well, yes, but like, I feel like, you know, teenagers are not always like so secretive about, they're like, ha!
Oh yeah, true. Or punctual.
Right. Yeah. But in my mind, I'm picturing it's just so quiet. And then you just hear this,
Yeah.
you know,
Like a banshee.
and then
yes.
cut off.
Oh, that's a spooky thought. Actually, that would be a great movie.
Yeah.
It would, you know.
Yeah.
Really spooky horror movie.
Trademark.
Trademark.
Nobody take that idea.
Don't take. We have so many good ideas. Don't take them.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
That was awesome. I love
Thank
that. Did you go to summer camp as a kid?
Well, yes. I went to church camp.
Oh, that's right.
I went to band camp and choir camp, but not like a full summer. Like where we live, it's, a week or two at a time. It's not like people don't go for the whole summer from where I'm from. How about you? Did you go?
No, it was not really a thing. But when we were in 6th grade, everybody went to this Camp Souls. And I don't remember. I feel like it was like less than a week, but it was like the big trip,
Yeah.
And I remember so many things about that so clearly because it was so much fun.
It's cool.
And you're kind of on your own, doing your thing. But I mean, I can picture everything. I can picture the dining hall. I can picture the lake, the cabin.
Yeah.
Some of the
camp
activities we
counselors
did.
are always like so cool and fun.
Yeah.
They're like college kids or whatever.
It was so fun, but I loved it. And so I even looked they have summer camp for adults. Do you know that?
I've seen that. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
They're like really expensive.
Yeah, I know.
But gosh,
maybe someday
we would have so much fun.
We are cut out for that.
Yes.
Totally.
I mean, that would be, let's put that on our.
Yeah, we'll put it on the bucket list.
Yeah.
It sounds so fun.
Yeah, it would be great.
All right.
Are you ready for Somebody Told Me?
Yes, I am.
Okay. So this story I've been sitting on for a little while.
Okay.
And
lay it on me.
The story is from Amaya, who is my former student, and she does my hair now. It looks great, Amaya. Thanks so much.
Yes, there you go. We love her.
Amaya likes spooky stuff. Like she loves like horror movies and things like that. And as soon as we started the podcast, she was like, "Oh, I'm so happy for you," like blah, blah, blah. And all along, she's like, "No, I really just don't have any stories." And I'm like, "Oh, you're killing me." And then the last time I was there, she's like, "Wait, you know what? I think there is something weird that I should tell you." And I'm like, "Let's go." So here we go.
Okay.
This story starts when Amaya was 9 years old and they were living in Gulfport, Mississippi.
Okay.
So 9-year-old Amaya wakes up at 3 a.m. She sees a man wearing a hat at the end of her bed. And this detail it's interesting. He has his arms folded and his chin resting on his hands looking at her.
Oh, I have chills. That does not happen to me they are, these chills are all over my entire body right now. I'm actually physically scared. Okay, keep going.
Okay. So he's sitting there with his chin resting on his hands. And she said at first his eyes looked kind of like a nocturnal animal looks when the light catches him, like that, like reflective, you know what I mean?
Yep.
But then they changed. They got deeper and darker and red. Amaya screamed.
I hate this.
And this is her like,
I'm not
actually, I
gonna
do have this
sleep.
story. So Amaya screams and her mom comes running. Okay. So fast forward, Amaya has a younger sister. So her younger sister is several years younger than her. Like she's still in school and stuff. And they are now living in Key West. Her sister wakes up at 3 a.m. and sees the same man sitting the same posture, sitting there looking, except she heard him breathing and she had sleep paralysis. Same exact description and like the hand on the chin thing. So
I actually feel a little sick.
oh God.
This is like really I don't know. This one is really scary.
It's really scary.
Yeah.
There's more. I'm sorry. Okay. So then there's just like some other weird things. Actually, I'll save those stories for another time. But then I said to Amaya, I said, "Hey, a lot of times people think the Hat Man and seeing the Hat Man is a familial thing.
Yeah.
It runs in the family. People say it." And I said, "Do you think anyone else has ever seen it?" And she's like, "I don't know. I only know my sister." She texts me and she goes, "I'm on the phone with my mom right now. And she told me she also saw the man as a little girl." And she said, "I am in shock." And she said, "I'm asking my grandma when I get home. I'm freaked out." And she said, "My mom said that he was a tall figure on the edge of her bed. He also was kneeling and staring at her, and he was wearing a hat."
Oh gosh.
She saw him on 2 occasions.
Oh my gosh. One thing about the Hat Man that I've kind of learned since we talked about the Hat Man in an episode a long time ago is that even though it's really scary, usually nothing happens. It's like it is a scary moment and usually there is sleep paralysis. So like that's also part of the terror of the whole thing. But that it doesn't go past that. Like it doesn't do anything to you or, you know,
right. There's not like
or come in any further or anything like that, you know?
I think part of the thing that makes it so scary though is that it's an invasion of the space that is so sacred to you.
Yeah.
Like it's your bedroom, and people are sleeping.
Yeah.
And wake up to this.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
And they can't move or do anything.
Right.
Yep.
But for me, the thing that was so striking about these stories are one, that they're all in her family. They're all the women in her family, right? But also two, like the posture, like that was a little bit different.
Yes, that is
and
weird.
They all,
that is uncanny and weird.
They all like describe the same exact thing.
Ooh.
Anyway, so that's Amaya's. Somebody told me.
Yikes, Amaya. Well, we do share that experience, so that I do know that is so scary. Ooh, yeah. Yikes.
Yeah.
Man.
I know I was like a little bit nervous to tell you that one, but also it's such a good story.
It's a really spooky story.
The fact that, like, again, the fact that they all saw him the same way.
And at those different ages too.
And different places. Mm-hmm. I don't understand what it is about the family, like, tie
is it something that's connected to the family in some way?
I don't know. Anyway.
I don't know. Well, thanks for sharing that. I will not sleep well tonight, but
I'm so
okay,
sorry.
That's okay because it's the point of what we're doing here. So, right.
Sometimes
it's like a summer camp thing. I'll be going to bed like, woo, so spooky. Boo.
Well,
all right.
Thank you, Amaya, again. And thanks to all of you for listening to this episode of the You Two Scare Me podcast. Have you checked out our website, you2scaremepodcast.com? You can find blog posts about our episodes, cool photos of us, and links to purchase our spooky gear.
Listeners, do you like what you hear? Help us reach more ears by sharing the show with your fellow weirdos, subscribing to our YouTube channel, and joining our Patreon. You can just go to patreon.com and search You Two Scare Me Podcast. We have a $5 tier and a $10 tier.
Ooh. Mm-hmm. You can also help us by rating and reviewing us on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Don't forget to check out our social media. Find us on Instagram at you2scareme_podcast, on our Facebook page, You Two Scare Me Podcast, or on TikTok. On TikTok, just search You Two Scare Me Podcast. No spaces.
Remember to send us your own spooky stories of the Hat Man or anything else for our Somebody Told Me segment at you2scaremepodcast@gmail.com. That's YOUTWO Scare Me Podcast@gmail.com.
Thanks for wandering through the shadows with us.
Until next time, stay curious and beware what lurks beyond the light.